Peace, beautiful people. It is your girl, the real Tony Hickman, out here in the greenery again. I went to the eye doctor the other day and found out that I have allergies. So sometimes they gave me drops, but I don't want to use the drops. I know I have to figure that part out. But my eyes are really feeling it today, and so yeah, that's just my reality. But I want to share something with you guys because I don't know if you know, but if you go to my page on, just click my name and go to my main page on YouTube, you will see the video that is the first video you see is called People Pleasing. And I wrote that video based on a lot of situations in my life. Yeah, I wrote it based on a lot of situations in my life, but I realized a couple of things. And so when I was young, I ended up staying with a lot of people. Like, I would say I stayed with my mother maybe 35% of the time, and the rest was with other people because we had circumstances going on. It doesn't matter. But in that, because I am my mother's only child, I found myself being a people pleaser to gain more attention from other people, right? And I grew up with that mentality. I ended up growing up with that mentality of just doing more things to please other people so I can feel the love that I was missing from not being with my mother. Even though she's a great soul, life happens. You understand what I'm saying? But I grew up being a people pleaser. And so even as a grown-up, I can see how my relationships with men, my relationships with even friends have extended into being a people pleaser just so I can have love. But I think at some point, because I operated under that energy of being a people pleaser, I went on to kind of be able to dissect that energy and feel when people were in need or feeling some kind of way. And so I haven't looked this up, and I need to, because it's just a thought that came to me. But I just wonder if being a people pleaser when we're young grooms us into being empathic or being empaths, because we already have tuned ourselves in to people's emotions and what they need, honestly, to search for an energy of love. And so now we feel people's energy simply because we've been working on tuning that energy in our brain for so long, or in our spirit, however it works. I don't know if that comes from the brain or the spirit. But yeah, I was wondering that because there's so many things we don't know. We don't know how much we can contribute to being greater beings, being telepathic, having all of these, I guess, spiritual powers, simply because we worked on them for so long. Like, if you are a person who constantly was searching for someone or hoping somebody would get your message, right? Or that would give you better energy or that connection into building your telepathy. And so a lot of us have these powers. Like, we all have the possibilities of becoming something bigger than we are. But if you grew up with a big family, even if your parent wasn't around, but you grew up with a big family who you knew loved you a lot, that groomed you to feel loved, and hopefully it also grooms you to feel empathy too. But it's not that direct thing of like focusing on empathy or focusing on being loved, because you are tuning into that energy so you can find it. And that's the same with telepathy. If you can't get in touch with somebody, like, your thoughts go to getting stronger. And so most of us have experienced telepathy, but we have not harnessed it or worked on owning it and practicing it or building it as a muscle. Because we can do that. We can do telekinesis. We can do all of these things. And if you Google telekinesis on YouTube, or if you search telekinesis on YouTube, you will see there are plenty of people that do telekinesis. It's not just one. And it's not by coincidence. It's because they have given practice to that energy. So, in saying that with people pleasing, and I'm not saying that people who are loved a lot don't know how to be empaths, because there are people who are loved a lot who I'm sure are empaths. That's why I say I have to look this energy up. But I wonder if people pleasing is just another direction that helps tune into other people's energy so you can find out what they need, but then you end up absorbing. Well, empaths, people who are true empaths, we end up absorbing people's energy around us, and it can become overwhelming. And so people who don't practice empathy or have like a hardcore experience being an empath, they don't truly understand how their energy leaks out, and you have to suck it in. But I find, like, y'all, I have been in so much seclusion lately. I have been to myself. I've been to myself a lot besides my home. But even in my home, I do the things that I need to do for my family. And then I go and work on stuff I got to get worked on. But I have been practicing a lot of seclusion. And I can really see the difference in absorbing people's energy versus not. Now, see, one of the things I have to master is being able to release it and also block from absorbing it, because I'm not trying to shy myself away from the world. I don't want to shy myself away from the world. I just want to become stronger in dealing with other humans, because I am a sensitive soul. I'm a very sensitive soul, and I've fallen out with people because they've told me to stop crying or stop being so emotional. And that's the worst thing you can tell somebody who is really deeply rooted to their emotions. But I believe our world is numb, and so we look at tears as a weakness. But when I had the aneurysms and the stroke, I had like 3 things happen in my brain. So even though I was already a person who showed empathy and was empathic, it's like it heightened in my brain after the brain surgery. Like, I got so in tune where, like, if I'm around people constantly, my soul I didn't know how to balance it. And so I find when it's a way to cut it off. But I find when I have to be around a lot of people, that is my only choice, is to be cool as Tony that cuts off that aspect of myself that absorbs everybody's energy. Because if not, I would go crazy. But I just, that's what made me question, does people pleasing lead to being an empath? And I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't even looked it up. I'm going to look it up after I make this video. But I haven't even looked it up. But I have learned to kind of shut it down, but I shut it down by shutting a part of me down. And I don't know if that's the right way. I feel it. I always feel it when I shut it down. But yeah, it's just a thought. It's just a question. I wonder how many of you are empaths. So many of us grew up being people pleasers. And we still have it in our system because it's connected back to empathy. Oh, they need me. We feel needed, right? And I think it's okay to help people, but not at the sake of dehydrating ourselves. And that's something I've done for a very long time too. Is helped people in the process of dehydrating myself. And so, like I said again, in solitude, I'm coming to so many realizations and epiphanies about life. And like, I don't want to live a life in solitude. I don't. But I think it has given me a keen perspective to look at as far as my goals, my actions, my journey, and how I really do want to be closer to my God self. I want to live that way. I want to practice what is put in my soul to do correctly. So, on that note, I love y'all. Much love. And yeah.